Hi, good afternoon, everybody. My name is Rohit Chandra. I am living in Delhi, and I've been born in Lucknow and brought up in a small city called Aligarh. Many of you may not be familiar with Aligarh. It's a small city in Uttar Pradesh. I did my engineering in telecommunication, and after that I pursued a career in telecommunications for 25 years, working both on the technology side for companies like Ericsson, etc., and then on the mobile services side for mobile operators, after which at the age of 45 I decided to be an entrepreneur, and for the last 15 years I've been running a company called OMC Power Private Limited. The company is involved in distributed energy business and transformation and energy transition at grassroots. So that's what I do now. The topic that we're going to cover today, extraordinary versus ordinary, I'm going to kind of relate to things that I have experienced myself in my own life and hope that it is helpful to you. And then, of course, I'm also going to share nuggets of what worked for me when I fell, got up again, licked my wounds, moved on, and learned from all the challenges that I faced in my own journey. Now, of course, the question has always been for me, do you build or do you kind of inherit? And you have seen lovely things that exist and things that have been built. My own choice was built, and I ended up doing a lot of that. Now, going on to this matter of extraordinary, the first question that arises in my mind is that what is really extraordinary, right? Extraordinary for whom? Who validates it? Who defines it to start with? And do we inherit templates that exist in the world? If we would all recollect, if you go and start tracing back, and you'll say that what is extraordinary really? So there are lots of inherited templates that exist which predefine extraordinary and ordinary in some sense. Now, do I agree with that? The answer is no. I guess the best thing for everybody to do, and especially for me, is to define my own extraordinary, right? My own extraordinary is something that gives me joy and not necessarily being validated by others. If you take examples, if you don't go to the top 3 schools in your city, are you not extraordinary, right? If you don't go to an Ivy League college, are you not extraordinary? If you don't make it to IITs, are you not extraordinary? If you don't end up working for a private equity firm, are you not extraordinary, right? The world wants to define extraordinary for us. If you don't fit into any of these templates, you're considered ordinary. But I reject that theory, and I believe that extraordinary, first of all, has to be defined by self, and extraordinary is something that gives you joy, right? It's not that it's dependent on external validation. If I do something great in my own view, if I don't get 100,000 likes on Facebook, I feel upset about it. I may have done something really fantastic, but I feel upset about it because I was so dependent on external validation. The very reason that I decided not to be on Facebook and Instagram, for instance, is this, that I don't need external validation. I know that I've done something great. I know that I've done something extraordinary, and I don't want to follow those stereotype templates that exist in the world today. So, of course, for me, the summary here is that you define what is extraordinary for you. You validate it, you set your own KPIs in some ways, and you follow your own journey which you decide, right? And then when you do that, you always find a situation where there's a conflict, sometimes you feel they complement each other, sometimes you feel that you need a balance of the two, but the heart and the mind are always telling you to do things which are somewhat different, right? The mind is approaching this very logically mostly things, sort of the right things, the things that have been templated, the things that have existed, the things that the world recognizes, right, as right or wrong, and it keeps telling you, no, you must go to the best college, you must get the right percentage of marks, you must go to this school and you must go to that, MNC to start your career. You must be the #1 batsman in the country. You must be the #1, fast bowler in the country, and so on. So the mind tells you stuff like that. The heart tells you to follow your own dreams, right? Many times we have seen that. So sometimes, and mostly in my case, I have experienced that they have been in somewhat of a conflict, right? And the trick has always been to balance the two. My own experiences have been that I follow something, I get something called, intuitive tickers. I mean, I don't know whether I can explain this well, but these are tickers. It's like almost like ticker that comes from a news website where you get like flashes in your mind. You wake up to some flashes. During the day you get some flashes. So I get what I describe as innovative tickers. I blend innovative tickers with emotions and normally find the winning formula for myself, right? And again, this is a journey, and in this journey you've got to define yourself what is extraordinary. So I work with a model where I get these intuitive tickers, I blend them with emotions and normally get the winning formula. And you'll be surprised to know that most of the innovative tickers I get is when I have a shower. It's very funny, but that's how it happens. Now, then once you've kind of defined your own extraordinary, you move on to something which I would like to call as belief. So which basically means that, you've juggled through this process of, looking at external things that require external validations, things that give you joy, and finally, struggled through this process of dealing with what your heart tells you, what your mind tells you, and arrive at a point. And at that point, you basically dig your heels. You basically dig your heels because you found your source of joy, right? You found what makes you happy. You found what makes you excited, and you need to be then really enthusiastic about your own belief. And this is kind of the process that you arrive with, and you say that, look, this is my belief. Okay, I own it. This is mine. This is not, given to me by anybody, and I'm going to now pursue this belief. So this is a kind of important toll gate in this journey. And then when you get going, things happen, right? We all know that, we were struggling with the perspective of what is extraordinary, who defines it, struggling with a little bit of this thing between the heart and the mind. We finally find this great thing. It could be that I want to be the best artist in the world. I want to be the best painter. I want to be the best musician. I want to be the best cricket player, or something else, right? Whatever works for you, right? Now, in my own case, I decided to be an engineer. I did not like the real engineering part of the engineering, but wanted to be in roles which are more customer facing, wanted to be traveling all around, meeting customers around the world, and that's what worked for me. That's what gave me the thrill. So we finally get to the point that we've kind of dealt with the heart versus mind, and got it all right, found the right mix. And like I said, what worked for me was intuitive tickers, blended with the emotions which worked for me. And then you finally get to what I call your own belief, right? Your own belief. This is something that gives you joy. This is something that gives you happiness. And then you finally dig your heels and say that, look, I have found my mission. I'm going to go after it. It could be that I want to be the best artist in town. I want to be the best musician. I want to be the best cricket player. In my own case, I wanted to be a business person, right? Even when I worked for companies, I worked for companies as an entrepreneur, more as an entrepreneur than as an employee, and would challenge status quo, drive and push innovation, test limits, travel, meet customers, and not really do the kind of engineering type of job, right? And that's what worked for me, and that kept me going all the time. So you get to the belief that works for you, gives you joy, and you move from there. When you move from there, you realize that, look, the circle of light is way too small as compared to the circumference of darkness, right? So as your circle of light keeps expanding, the circumference of darkness keeps expanding. And there's nothing wrong about it. this is just so wonderful because it only tells you, it only taught me that, look, I have reached this toll gate in pursuing my belief. And now when I go from, just to give you an example, if I go from this small little town called Aligarh into Mumbai for my first job, I thought that the world would end at Aligarh, right? And when I reached Mumbai, I realized that, oh, look, there is so much to explore, and I had no clue about it. And this is kind of an endless pursuit, right? And it gives you so much joy when you go from one toll gate to another, and every time you realize that the amount I know is so little in compared to what I don't know. The amount that I have explored is so little compared to what I have not explored, right? Take examples of people who live in a country, live in a particular city in that country, have never gone beyond that city, have never traveled outside the state, right? And have no idea. You live in this little pond and you feel so happy about it, you define your world around it, and you think that's it, right? So in this journey of pursuing the extraordinary, I guess that what works for me is to take this in a stride, to kind of respect it, to be thrilled about it. And let me tell you that, I'm kind of 60 years old now, and I think this journey continues. For me, it continues. Every time I feel that this is a big goal that I'm setting for myself, which gives me joy, which in my own view would make me extraordinary, when I reach there, I only realize how little I have done and what more is out there which needs to be done. So this is it's a journey that continues. This is a phenomena that continues, and there is so much out there, right? So which we have to explore and which we have to discover as we pursue this our own journey of being extraordinary. Then an important point is that, okay, you are on the journey, you know what's going on, you have your belief, and then how do you kind of really go into execution, right? So what are your priorities when you go and execute on your belief? Then I think the first thing that happens is, the most important priority is, of course, that you need to focus, and focus, right? There is, you can't be a person who's kind of changing goalpost all the time. If there are difficulties, if there are challenges in the journey which are bound to happen, you just cannot say that, look, I disbandoned my belief. No, not at all. There is a difference between, changing goalpost and agility. Okay, the agility is a phenomena in which you adjust to changing circumstances, but you just don't give up your belief, right? So the most important thing is to focus, and pursue that journey. Okay, followed by this, there is of course a little bit of planning required. We just can't just do things unplanned. But in my own world, what worked for me was a bit of planning, but real big focus on execution, right? You do a bit of planning. You just can't say that any direction is good direction for me, right? You cannot say that, oh, I just go in the direction of the wind. Not at all. You have your own belief. This is my journey of being extraordinary, and hence I will pursue this no matter what. So focus, bit of planning, and a large amount of emphasis on execution, right? Execution, because execution is what would differentiate A from B, B from C, and C from D. The next important aspect becomes dealing with uncertainty, right? The world is full of uncertainties. If you are you are an entrepreneur, you are in a job, you are in college, you're in school, you're doing whatever, uncertainties are bound to happen. So you need to be strong, you need to have kind of smiling face, and you need to be exhibiting a lot of self-confidence in the face of uncertainties, because this is bound to happen. And I think it is important for everybody to recognize that this is bound to happen and be prepared for it, have the skills for it. And I would say that have the skills to deal with known and unknown uncertainties. Because, of course, there are certain things, when you start out there, you do a risk analysis, right? You do a risk mitigation strategy. But look at all investments that are made around the world. in many, many cases, business plans that were proposed at the time of making investments and what really happens in the business after that, 5 years hence, 10 years hence, are quite different from each other. So, of course, there's going to be known uncertainties and unknown uncertainties. Known uncertainties are covered in risk analysis documents and whatnot, but unknown uncertainties are by the very nature unknown to you, right? And hence, the differentiation is made in terms of possessing skills which can help you deal with unknown uncertainties as well, right? And then, while dealing with all of this, I spoke about self-confidence. It's so important. And you see out there 3 important things which have been learning for me in my life, that how do you kind of balance between self-confidence on one side, being unsure on the other side, and also being arrogant on the third side, right? An extreme amount of self-confidence sometimes can lead to arrogance, right? And too little of it can lead to being unsure. If you're unsure, you don't know what to do, right? You will sail in whichever direction possible, in the direction of the wind, not necessarily in the direction that you set for yourself. If you're arrogant, we all know what happens, right? It is the easiest way to fall. So I guess what's important and what works really, again, I have to give my own examples because I'm not sitting in judgment for anybody else, but critically judging myself. I would say that kind of the right blend is what, there will be times when you're unsure. You've got to quickly, pick up the strings, pull and move in the direction that you set for yourself. There'll be times when you are tempted to be arrogant, when you reach toll gates, when you achieve milestones, when you see success. But if you remember the philosophy that, look, this circle of light is much smaller than the circumference of darkness, no matter where we are, then I guess it keeps us humble, it keeps us modest, and then kind of helps us strike the right kind of sort of self-confidence that we need to make sure that we can deal with known and unknown uncertainty. Then there is also, there is a saying that the paranoid win, right? So I have stated it slightly differently, and I said that there needs to be a certain amount of embracement of paranoia. So if you are somebody who set a goal for yourself and a path of the extraordinary for yourself, then you must be prepared to embrace paranoia, which basically means that it just keeps you on the edge, right? It just keeps you on the edge. So this is like a little garnishing of paranoia on top of the dish, and it keeps you on the edge, it keeps you competitive, it keeps you alert at night, and it keeps you going to provide that little extra push in everything that you're doing, right? So this is something that I believe in. Then, of course, it's all about change. What is today is not tomorrow, was not yesterday. So there has to be this continuous process of rediscovery. We were just talking about something like that today in the company, where we said that, look, my friends, status quo for us is not an option. And this basically means that if we believe we are so good, normally when you sit and analyze yourself, it's very easy to come to the conclusion that you're great, right? Your team is great, your company is great, everything is great, right? And especially if you're an entrepreneur, you see nothing wrong in your business, right? You're always positive, you're never so self-critical. And then, of course, you must always realize that, look, this is always going to happen, and rediscovery is the name of the game. Now, even if you are a professional in a large company, if you are a leader in a large company or a small company, you need to rediscover yourself every day. You need to go and dig the well every day, take out water and drink. You cannot live on past laurels. You cannot live on past laurels. You cannot come back and say to your team, please respect me because I accomplished this 1 year ago, or I accomplished this 6 years ago. Not at all. In today's world, I do not believe that people will accept that. So if you are a leader, it's extremely important that you discover yourself every day. If you feel that you cannot rediscover yourself every day, then I guess there is a burden of leadership on you which tells you to let go, right? It tells you to let go. It's like a highway. Imagine that you're on a highway and suddenly on the highway, where can you stop, right? You can only stop at specific places, right? You can only stop at specific places. You cannot just start running your car at 20 miles an hour when the highway allows everybody to run at 100 miles per hour. So if you feel that your car can only run at 20 miles an hour, then you have to let go of the traffic that is coming from behind. It applies to companies. It applies to every space of life, right? So this is extremely important. And then, of course, as you move ahead, there will be so many situations in which you will feel unsure, you will feel lack of confidence, you'll feel many things, right? You'll feel things are not going your way. Then what do you really do? For me, what works is that in times like that, I get back to the basics. And everybody needs to define what this means for them, right? For me, it could mean something. For you, it could mean something. So in times of uncertainty, in times of change, I get back to basics. And for me, it means that okay, what are the key attributes that I need to make sure that I'm compliant on? That's speed, okay, that's passion, that's agility, and simplicity. So again, a nice blend of these. So I would like to do things fast, not be in that situation for a long time to come, right? Take quick decisions. Agility means change based on, say, competitive behavior, market behavior, consumer behavior, whatever it may be, internal company affairs, etc., right? Change, demonstrate agility. Cannot say, oh, this is how we do it, irrespective of anything, I'm not going to change. So, speedily work on things. Change if change is required to be made. Continue to pursue your passion. Don't just kind of let go and abandon your mission, abandon your belief. Continue to pursue it with passion. And finally, of course, keep things simple. This is what works for me. And finally, what I want to say is that of course, while we pursue our belief, while we chase our dream to be extraordinary, we always must realize that the one thing that we all carry is untapped potential, right? All of us have a huge amount of untapped potential. And said in another way out here is that the biggest weight that we carry is that of our untapped potential. So I guess we need to realize that we never have to underestimate what we are capable of doing, and we must pursue our belief and our journey to be the extraordinary at the pace and rigor and passion with which we decided to pursue it. So with this, I would like to end. Thank you so much.